Okay, we are live. Hello. Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Ash. This is I'm Not Trying to Kill You. And we are playing In Which We Live and Breathe today. I have with me three amazing cyberpunks who have decided to join us into the strange cyberpunk world that we're going to be traveling into. So I think we'll start off by saying hello to everyone, and then we can have a bit of a chat about games and stuff. I'll start off with a familiar face. Ray, how you doing? I love your makeup.
Thank you.
It's unbelievably cute.
Thanks. I was like, is that too much blue on my nose? No, it's fine.
No, it's great. It's great. How are you going?
Just put more on. I'm good. I'm very tired as always, but I'm good. I've got a cat on my lap, so in case I look really awkward and stiff.
Hello.
He's like, put me back down.
How dare you manipulate me? Cool, excellent. Yeah, you just got back from a vacation?
Yes. Down the street.
I liked all your cyberpunk photos. They were good.
It was fun. It got me in the mood. Surrounded by like Canada's biggest corporations. It was fantastic.
Cool. All right, and then we have Kira. How you doing, Kira? You're muted.
Am I?
No, you're not.
I did not. It was just you.
It was just me. I was just imagining it. Okay, great. I haven't done this in like 3 months. I'm like 100% professional today.
Same. I haven't done it for a long time either. Welcome back to our Twitch world.
Right? Because you and I were playing Andrew's game last, weren't we?
Yeah, the Magical Girl game. Yeah. That was fun.
That's why I was like, I miss playing cyberpunk bullshit with Kira. We need more of that. So.
Yes, I'm always down for cyberpunk bullshit. Bring on the cyberpunk bullshit.
Cool. I know I asked you this before the show, but how are you going with Sync?
Oh yeah, Sync is my feels-focused cyberpunk game that's powered by the apocalypse, and I've been designing it for 3 years, and I think this year I've decided to finish it. So
deciding to finish a thing is a good idea. Like,
I think so too. I'm trying to get better at endings.
Yeah, I think I need to do that with the Republic, because it needs to be just not sitting there in the like weird weird limbo of being like, this needs more playtesting, but also I don't have time to playtest everything.
Yeah, you gotta stop playtesting sometime. Just gotta put it down. Yeah. You playtest forever.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think that's what I ended up doing. You just gotta stop. Just stop.
Yep. Snow, I'm sorry about your pronouns. I shouldn't have copy-pasted things.
It's fine. I'm not bothered. It happens.
I'm unbothered. How are you doing?
I have a cold, which is super fun, but
Yay.
I'm going to try not to sniffle on mic too much.
We believe in your ability to self-mute if needed. Just mute and just have a spit.
I will be very aggressive with that mute button.
Yeah. Get all up in your business. So today we are we're getting a bit of audio popping. Okay, fine. I'll try and make sure that. Where's that coming from?
Is it me?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, weird. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on that. So we are playing today. We're playing In Which We Live and Breathe, which is my cyberpunk game. We can have a look at that. What are people's favorite cyberpunk stuffs? What are the things people are bringing as far as like their own influences? And like, interestingly, like, is there cyberpunk fantasy stuff that I'm not familiar with?
Yeah,
because it's such a niche genre.
I love Ghost in the Shell. That's my number one love, my first cyberpunk love.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And Blade Runner, of course.
How do people feel about 2049? I loved it, but like I know that it's divisive.
What?
Yeah.
I love it. See, I was a huge original Blade Runner fan. I actually love it more than the original.
Well,
Yeah, same. Yep.
Wow, I'm a fake fan. I had never got around to seeing it. I kind of forgot that it existed, and I feel kind of bad about
Wait,
that.
you forgot
okay.
you forgot to see the original or the 20?
No, I've seen the original. I forgot that 2049 happened. I meant
yeah.
to go, and then it just didn't.
Look, Kira's probably going to tell you that's for the best.
That's the proper response to 2049.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Like, fuck that shit. Fuck that sexist, racist bullshit.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Yeah,
I find it super fascinating how many people found it sexist and how many people found it a really good commentary on sexism.
Yeah.
I find the interpretation is so individual, and I find that fascinating.
And it's such a thing where it's do we do the death of the author thing, or do we be like, wait, what were they actually intending? Were they trying to comment on it, or were they just being like off in their own little world? Like,
well, like for me, like Altered Carbon is super sexist.
Yes, it is.
But like 2049 for me, I found it like a really good commentary on sexism. I can see both sides.
I would argue that actually Altered Carbon is less sexist than 2049 because they have the best queer cyberpunk bar scene. There's like actually queer and gay and people of color like in that bar. It actually blew my mind a little. I'm like, why is this great bar scene in this trash show?
Yeah. I wasn't sure. For me, that bar scene was a little bit BioWare elbowed in there for me.
yeah,
oh, hey, yeah. Good observation.
I'm trying really hard not to make a pun here, but I feel like a scene in which a bunch of diverse people exist for a brief moment is a very low bar for a thing being.
Yeah.
That was not
trying so hard not to make a pun, and yet here we are.
I couldn't see a way around
and
it.
yet here we bar. Oh dear. Has anyone seen Bright?
Oh my god, that was so bad.
It's so bad, but I
haven't.
I had a really good time watching a terrible film. Yeah.
Did you see my favorite cyberpunk of last year was The Upgrade or Upgrade or something like that.
I haven't seen it.
Great.
The premise is a dude gets AI put into his body, and it's like this. He turns him into a super soldier, and there's a conspiracy, and it's actually a really good action movie. it was genuinely good, and you get to see him like do all this body acting where like the AI takes over his body, and he like doesn't know what he's doing, and he talks with the AI kind of like in Venom talks with Venom. You know, it's like it's pretty good. I'd recommend it.
Yeah,
that sounds like a much cooler version of. I've been obsessed with a musical lately called Be More Chill, which is based on a bad play, which is based on a bad book. But it is about a nerdy dude who gets an AI put in his head so he can pick up chicks better, and then the AI kind of goes rogue and just tries to put AIs in everyone else's head, and he has to somehow shut that down. It's very weird, but the music is very catchy.
Sounds like a better version of Her.
I'm just coming back to like fucking Master Chief and Cortana and all of that nonsense, and the fact that like canonically apparently like the suit can like jerk him off. Like what?
That's a detail I literally never need.
This whole thing with like it does Master Chief have a romantic relationship with Cortana? And yeah, the argument is from the hardcore Halo fans that it is a sexual relationship. Yeah.
Well, more power to them, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
As
Anyway,
long as it's consensual and they're both happy, I suppose.
Yeah, right. Like as long as your super soldier is having a nice time with his imaginary AI friend.
Yeah. I mean, the question is, can a robot that you made consent?
Yeah, right. That is a really like I have this question a lot because I'm dealing with it with like if you write an NPC in a game, specifically like more importantly in a video game, can they consent?
Right. No.
The best example I've actually got of that is The Last Guardian, where you are friends with the giant fluffy cat dog thing and you give it instructions and sometimes it just doesn't care, and it's like, oh hey, like this thing has its own sense of like personhood because it doesn't just do what you fucking tell it if you give it enough treats, which is
I feel like Ray would be the actual expert on that, whether or not, I don't know. What do you...
I think you have to be explicit about it. I think you'd have to like explicitly write it in their program. Like I think it would have to be like, consent is always really important to be explicit with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, but like a lot of my favorite cyberpunk is actually in books and novels.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, I find that like writers are a little bit further, like book writers are a little bit further ahead of like TV and movie writers in terms of like actually being progressive and not being assholes. Like Charles Stross's book, which I can't put my finger on the name of the book, so I'm just trying to figure it out. Where is his bibliography? It's one of my favorites. It's got like one of these covers. You know how authors don't have control over their covers?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So it's got one of these covers that someone was like, you should read this book. And I was like, I am going to hate that book.
Does it have a butt?
That cover. It's like sexy woman on the cover.
Yep.
And the reason for that is the main character is an ex-sex robot after humanity has died out. And she's like, and he writes women so well, and he works really closely with like a lot of femme authors and stuff to try and make sure that like, anyway, I wish he would write a sequel to this, but he's always in kind of, he's got like these series of like detective books and stuff, like fantasy books that people love, that he's always publishing those. Why can I not remember what it's called, and why can I not find a bibliography?
I read a really good cyberpunk book this year too, while you're looking. It's called The Summer Prince, and it's basically a young adult novel that takes place in future Brazil. So it's Brazilian cyberpunk, which is super rad.
That's cool.
Yeah, and it does a lot of like Brazilian culture stuff, and you know, it's post-apocalyptic, and the city proclaims that men have destroyed the world, so women take over the city and they rule. It is binary, it's three characters. It's two dudes and a lady who are the main characters. The girl is the main character, and they're in a love triangle, but they're all in love with each other. And polyamorous, like open, so it like destroys the YA triangle thing. It's very good. I definitely recommend it.
Nice. That's like a younger version of like some of the similar themes. So it's called Saturn's Children.
Cool.
But like humanity has died out, but like the main character and her kind, like the kinds of robots that she is, because it's just like robots throughout the stars, left behind by humanity, have this like were born and created with this intrinsic link to humanity and love for humanity. And so even though humanity has been dead and gone for several hundred years, they've still got like this deep passion and love for their creators. But they're like the only robots in the universe that are like that. And there's a lot of like, because she was a sex robot and her kind, and they're like, they have like anime features and stuff. Like it's like this weird like, oh yeah, humans would totally have made sex robots look like anime girls. But like there's a lot of like love, like her finding love and sex like with other, like she has sex with like a spaceship. Anyway, like there's all this like really cool like expressions of love and what that means, and like the meaning of life through relationships, but they're all robots. And so yeah, I love it. That's my personal cyberpunk bar is Saturn's Children.
Saturn's Children. I'm writing it down.
Oh, that's sex with the spaceship. I'm on board.
Yeah.
I've been playing heaps of heaps of full sunless skies, and some of the romance scenes in that are like, just, it's like, yes, this is a sex scene, but not like just a sex scene. It's something else entirely.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah.
What's it called?
Sunless Skies. It is
Sunless
a gothic horror space exploration game.
Cool.
Queen Victoria blew up the sun, built her own, and took London into the sky. Is the premise. I was very lucky to get to contribute to that a little. So I've been like, I got brought in as a queer rep consultant on it, and then I was like, what is this game? And like just started consuming it, like just voring the game into myself. Just Snow's face there. And like, yeah, and like I've played like 150 hours now, and I'm just, yeah. But yeah, that's more steampunk than cyberpunk, which is, but like I still maintain that they are just like fundamentally pretty similar at their core. If they just have different aesthetics connected to them and different understandings of like what the power structure you're rebelling against looks like.
They come from the same authors too.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, like
like
difference engine is Gibson.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Sterling.
Yep.
Who's okay.
Yeah, like it's like
he's always the science. We'll just let him do the science thing.
Yeah, William Gibson's one of my favorite authors though.
Steampunk is rebellion against empire and colonialism, whereas cyberpunk is rebellion against like corporatism, is from the way I perceive it.
Yeah.
So
same problems, different times.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like it's just like corporations are just reinventions of monarchies. Like that's what it effectively is. We talk about in the sort of in the traditional Shadowrun setting, like corporations hold land as if they were countries. They're effectively corporate monarchies. So it's and that's one of the things that like this game tries to talk about is like the fact that like this game is one of the is like Kira's sync is like, hey, what about if cyberpunk games, role-playing games, were actually punk? Like what about if we actually did that? Like my frustration with Shadowrun comes from A, what the fuck have you done with the dice? Jesus Christ, just put them down, stop it. And B, why are we working for the corporations?
Also fantasy. I don't like the fantasy D&D crossover.
Yeah?
Personally.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that.
Yeah.
It's like the only thing I like about Shadowrun
is that this is about like that overlap, right? Yeah. About how because like I think one of the questions that In Which We Live and Breathe tries to ask of like the Shadowrun style setting is, why the fuck do you have like goblins and wizards? Like what's the, like, are we doing that just because it's pretty, or is there like a and so we have a mechanical backing for it? With that, do we want to like start to like go through some of the setting creation stuff that the game demands of us? Cool. So when we first start playing, actually, does someone want to shall I, or does someone else want to read the introductory paragraph for us so we can kind of get a feeling? I can
do you have a link for the text?
For the text? Yeah, sure. Give me I will give you the web link in
I can find that.
Yep, there you go. That's the version that's just like a web page. I'll read this and then we can move on. We don't know what year it is. We don't know what is in the water. We don't know if we're human or what human even is anymore. The corpse took all that shit. They wiped everything. They wiped everything when the change happened. Now we're here in the concrete under the neon, trying to eke out a life between the mana rats and the kill droids. Some of us are tapping into our nature, learning about our spirits and the ether that seems to pervade the world now. Some of us are gearing up, modifying our bodies and cracking systems and corporate security. None of us, though, none of us are taking this shit lying down. The marble floors of their holodeck parlors and Atmo-controlled meeting rooms are going to run with blood. We don't care what color. We're going to make some fucking trouble. Before you start telling your story, you need to establish the setting and characters. First, work out what city you're playing in and create some corpse. Do we have a feeling about, like, do we want to, like, pull from a real city and be like, this is we're moving this city far into the, like, weird post fantasy cyberpunk future, or do we want to, like, play in, like, a miscellaneous, like, created city? What kind of a setting are we looking to play in? Because, like, I quite liked I was interested in when Roll20 played the Sprawl. They had they played in a very, like, frozen city, and I was like, wow, it's like like cyberpunk often makes us just be like, yes, it's raining, right? Like, what kind of place does our cyberpunk city exist in? Does anyone have feelings?
I could do anything.
I mean, like, neon signs in the rain is a very powerful aesthetic.
Yeah, it is.
So I can see why that is, like, a go-to default. It does just look dope as hell. But I also really like the, like, stark contrast between just, like, shitty, dilapidated buildings next to, like, clean, pristine stuff. I don't like pristine and like clean and like hard lines is very cliche for, like, this is like the authority in a sci-fi or cyberpunk setting. You know, they have all of their shit is, like, white and clean and sterile, but, like, it's a cliche because it works. So I think elements of contrast are really striking.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh shit! Hang on. There's a really good comment. The neon signs in all day mist and harsh electric light gleaming off frozen puddles is a really good aesthetic.
Yeah, see, I was gonna say that, like, we could have, like, quite a frozen city, and you still have the neon reflections, like, because you get, like, slush, and, like, the streets can be, like, shitty, like, wet snow, while, like, the sidewalks are kind of like quite frozen. Yeah,
like we can have, like, the frozen city. We can have the so the, like, the rainy thing can be so many different things, right? It can be, like, it could be sleet, it could be, like, cold, miserable, like, like British like raining all the time, or it can be like tropical, a la, like, Hong Kong, sort of, like, monsoonal, like, hot and wet. Or we can go to the, like, hot and dry sort of area and be like, what does a cyberpunk city look like in a desert? Or you can have the, like, the floating city thing. There's lots of different kind of spaces to, like, examine.
One thing I've always really loved, and, like, when I moved to Vancouver, this was, like, a big thing, was when it snows. So it's snowing today, which is why I'm thinking about it. But, like, when it snows, the beach gets covered in snow, and where the water hits snow, like, where the sea hits the snow, is always so cool. So, and so, like, before you even said floating city, I was thinking about how in Dubai, they've built all those, like, islands. Because humanity, why not?
Yeah.
When you've got loads of money, why not build a fucking sandbar and turn it into an island? So, like, kind of like this weird, idealized, kind of almost like Bioshock style Rapture floating city on an island in the ocean that has, like, maybe drifted into, like, I don't know, some unexpected cold into the Arctic or something.
Yeah, it might be like it like it doesn't have seasons as we're used to, because it just kind of drifts to weird places.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, oh, this is like we're in the Arctic for like 3 years now, and then we end up in the tropics, and then
Yeah.
like, yeah, I like the idea of like unexpected seasonal changes, and like very seasonal extremes based on like the movement of a city. That's cool.
Yeah. Or like we could just like carry Smog with us.
Yeah, right. Did anyone play Brink? That terrible shooter.
No.
I played a bunch of it, and it was set on a floating city. That was like post climate. Like they built a floating city because of climate change, and then basically you played either like rebels from the like shit parts or like the cops. And yeah, it was there were like sections which were all like nice and gleaming, and then there were whole shanty towns made out of shipping crates and things like that. So that's definitely like the floating city thing definitely takes me to the Brink place, which is cool.
Now I'm like thinking of shipping crates with like neon signs on them.
Yes.
Why have we never seen that before? Just like, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Do we like floating city? Is that where we're going with this?
I will never say no to a floating city.
Fucking rad.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do we have a name for it? Do we want to like think about a name while we're moving forward? Has anyone got any like really obvious, like, oh wait, we call it like Pacifica, or like,
Well, is this
Something
a free
really
city or a
corporate.
city?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think if we're playing this game, it requires there to be multiple corporations at play. But that doesn't mean that it can't be like, we can't have one that is the base one.
True.
You know, like
I feel like it's very cyberpunk for like a bunch of corporations to have like co-opted something that once had meaning to people, and corporations have gone, actually that's ours now, we're taking it, we're branding it, we're using it. So I like the idea of something that is like would have been meaningful and has been stripped of all meaning for the sake of like companies making more money off people. But
like
I don't have any.
like a socialist utopia that companies were like, actually no. Like,
Yeah, or maybe we were like a resort, or like a cruise island, and it's owned by a company, and like
Yeah, I really want to do like Disneyland turned into a fucking like dystopian city now.
I mean, I've seen Blades in the Dark run in Disneyland on the moon, so
That's like there was a cyberpunk video game called The Surge, and their DLC was a theme park. Was a post-apocalyptic theme park.
yeah, we've got to have a whole theme park wing of our city. Yeah, like a resort. Yeah, so it's a resort sort of theme park, cruise ship sort of setting. Yep, love it. Cool. Well, I'll let chat just throw us ideas for names for our city. In the meantime, we have to make some corporations. So like as we're doing our like setting establishment for this, we kind of like move down in like power structures. So we do cities, and then corporations, and then communities, and then crews, and then characters. So corporations, I need to find in my thing. Corpse. We were so damn worried about making uncaring, all-consuming artificial life out of technology or magic that we never stopped to realize that we'd made it out of paper. Corporations are legal entities made up of legal, human, and technological resources that exist to grow themselves by extracting profit and capital from anything within their grasp. At the start of the campaign, each person creates one of the corps that dominates your city. Work out what they're called, what they control, how they operate, as well as any slogans, jingles, etc. So everyone gets to be like, oh, I want there to be a corp that does X or Y, so that we can kind of get a weird ecology of corporate bullshit. And then what we've got is we're going to have a Discord set up so that the audience can play as the corporations. during like in between sessions, and they can fuck with each other and occasionally with us. So yeah, do people who has ideas for like what kinds of corpse they want to be like going up against?
I have a really good idea, but I also feel like I've been speaking a lot, so I'm just gonna chill out, but let everyone know that I'm sitting here and ready when you are.
I mean,
I'm okay if you want to go.
yeah, if you want to go first, you're welcome to. It might help inspire other people.
Okay. So thinking along the Disney aspect lines, Disney and Netflix have merged. Maybe I don't know. We'll think of some amalgam of their names in a minute, but except now instead of like films on TV and like that kind of stuff, what they peddle is personality and experience implants.
This is like, yeah, right.
And so, like, the reason I've come up with this is just because I have ideas for my character, but we'll get to that in a bit. But so there was actually a series of books called what were they called? I can't even remember the author now, but they were set in the Middle East, and they were the cyberpunk far future, and everyone had, or not everyone, but like a bunch of people had these implants in their brains where you could basically like jack in personality upgrades or like skill upgrades, or you could even just like plug in porn or something like that, or like some movie or like some like holodeck experience kind of thing. And it would also affect how other people that had these implants perceived you and things like that. And they were just like this really cool idea. And it was just like, everyone was broke. Everyone was a criminal, basically, in the desert, in the city. And it was also a very Muslim place, which was like just such a refreshing way of looking at the cyberpunk future at the time. Anyway, I'll look at those books and so everyone knows what they are later. Someone in chat knows what I'm talking about, but yeah, I can't think of them. I'm so bad with names. But so yeah, that kind of idea. So Disney and Netflix do this where they sell like the corporate versions. There's obviously black market versions. There's like all sorts of crime gangs probably make their own, or they like alter official ones, but like they're basically collectibles in a way. And so they can be like movies or like cartoons and things like that, but they're also personality or memory. Like they basically can affect your personality or memory. So you can discard parts of yourself that don't work out or things like that.
Yeah, I feel like if they're like memory experience like technologies, then that's inherently going to like shape who you are anyway. Yeah. Because it's like because that can like adds to how you interact with the world. It's like based on your memories and experiences. So yeah, like so they sell like virtual experience and memory.
Yeah, and like personality upgrades and overwrites and things like that.
Yeah.
And you can swap them at will.
Yeah. Cool.
Want to, but yeah.
That's super cool. I love memory shit. I'm on board.
Yay. Ash will know. I think every game that Ash has had me in, I've done something messed up with memory, because I actually had a stroke 5 years ago where I lost a bunch of my memories. So I'm like a little bit obsessed with like looking at that, because it's something I don't think we look at much in fiction, is like how our memory is affected by things.
Totally. And isn't the brain so amazing how it can reconstruct itself after strokes? I didn't know that.
Yeah, brains are so cool. And we know so little about them still.
Yes, a lot of them is a mystery.
Some of the great suggestions from chat for the names of this corp include Netney and Disflix. Obviously,
Netney was the first thing I thought of as well. So
I quite liked the Dream Corporation.
Dream Corporation. Oh my god! Could we do Disney, Netflix, and what's Steven Spielberg's? Who made Shrek?
DreamWorks.
DreamWorks. So Disney, Netflix, and DreamWorks merged.
Yeah.
Also, this is reminding me so much of Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom. You know.
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen it because I don't think I could deal with it. Like,
Oh, it's a book. Is it a movie?
Oh no, I'm thinking of not Down and Out. I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah.
There's another thing that is. Okay, I'll have to ask Emily later. There's a film that I'm thinking of, which is a horror movie made using footage from Disney World. And it's all just like,
That's kind of awesome.
that's the one I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking of Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom. I'm thinking of something else that has a very, very similar name.
Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom is by Cory Doctorow. It's a cyberpunk novel from 10 years ago or something. Yeah, and it takes place in an amusement park, and it's basically all about like a person who has figured out how to like maximize their amusement park experience and helps like critique amusement parks as a job and stuff like that. Pretty cool. It's very weird. There's lots of statistics about lines, like waiting in lines, and like the proper backpack to carry through your like amusement park experience. It's kind of like pattern recognition, but for Disney World.
Yeah. The film that I'm thinking of is called Escape from Tomorrow.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, Disney is already terrifying enough on its own.
Yeah.
It's very easy to turn into a horror movie.
Yeah, the reason that it got attention is because it was mostly shot on location in Disney World without the Disney company's permission, and basically they shot it on iPhones and made this like terrifying horror film about like being trapped in Disney World.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yep.
Okay, so I remember that series and the author. It's George Alec Effinger. I've got a Wikipedia link. The first novel is When Gravity Fails, and then the next one is A Fire in the Sun, and the last one is The Exile Kiss, and then posthumously he had a collection of short stories related to that universe called Buddha Unites. And they are a very good cyberpunk series that I would recommend to everyone.
That
it was
cool as heck.
published from like the 80s to the early 2000s. There's a link.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you for the link. Awesome. Cool. So we have a Disney Netflix thing, which will get a name as we move along, unless we want to use one of the ones we've already got.
I think maybe just Dreamflix.
Dreamflix?
Yeah. I feel like that's really cyberpunk sound.
Love it.
Yeah, cool. Does anyone else have like an idea for like a corp that can like hold another position in our world, right? Like, because all aspects of our lives are controlled by corps. What are the things that we interested in interrogating with our corporations?
I feel like we need a corp that is representative of like the physical reality for people living in it too. So a corporation that maybe takes people's bodies and modifies them to be better workers seems very like capitalist dystopia. Like,
yeah.
So like a medicine industrial complex.
A little bit, yeah.
Like medicine. But the thing that we're curing is your inability to be a good worker.
Yeah, exactly. Like, very like, the sort of stuff that like this technology would be super interesting if it was applied in ways of like improving the lives of disabled people, but that makes less money than just getting everybody to work more than they normally could, or work harder, or get more done, or and like if someone gets injured in through work, it's not a tragedy. It's we already have to go fix you up, so we might as well add these bits that will just make you, I
like the idea
make us
of, like,
able to.
Like, I think that creates the really interesting question of a write-off, right? Like when you have a car accident and you're like, is it worth repairing, or do we just throw it in? Do we just throw it away, right? And you might have that with people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
case.
I feel like there's that really bad the movie where there was like a worker, it's like a couple years ago. It was made by the same person who did the South African District 9 movie.
District
But
9,
this
yeah.
one, but this one was not District 9. It was like it was like his next movie, and like it
Okay,
was.
yeah.
it's
I remember
starring,
hearing
like,
about it but never saw it.
Yeah, there were after District 9, he did like Elysium or something like that, which was like a garbage movie.
Yeah, it was not very good.
Which was bad, and then he did Chappie, which was good, mostly.
I
But
love
that- yeah.
Chappie. I love
I really like a lot.
I understand
of
that some
Chappie.
people are like, oh, it's like nonsense and bullshit, but like it was my nonsense and bullshit, and I was on board. Like anything with robot babies, I'm so there for.
100%. And people
anything
uploading
with
consciousnesses, it's
Bullshit.
only-
full of really good bullshit.
The only reason I was there for like Age of Ultron is because Tony Stark and Bruce Banner have a robot baby. Like that's why I'm there, and the robot baby is Paul Bettany. Like that's all I care about. Sorry, the rest of that film.
I'm
Yeah,
also one of
it's a
these.
bad film, but robots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm also one of these people that like I objectively know when science fiction is bad, but I still consume it all.
Mhm.
Like Elysium, it wasn't great, but like it was still a good movie to just watch and enjoy for science fiction purposes. Like, even though there was so much bullshit themes in it, like I still enjoyed like the aesthetics, and like I hate Matt Damon, but like if you could just like not think about that for a second. But that it also makes me think of, did anyone watch In Time with Justin Timberlake, which is a phenomenal cyberpunk movie, and Justin Timberlake does so good in it. But like there's a
No.
similar theme in that with
Which one was that? I missed the name of it.
It's called In Time.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's like kind of not a great movie with some amazing ideas.
Yeah, but like still it's like on that end of like it's got like a big budget and like it's well filmed, and like the world that they created was really interesting, the characters were quite interesting, and yeah, the story is just like pure cyberpunk, like through and through, and like punk cyberpunk, like, and it's all centered around the workers, and how basically your life it is owned by the corporations, and you have like a clock in your arm that like ticks down, and like it's basically like a currency, and so like you can accrue it, and you can like gift your time to people and stuff. Anyway, and Justin Timberlake's character ends up with someone else's like some millionaire amount of time, so he can get into like the rich people neighborhood, and like it's this big kind of it's an action movie, so it's like it's a lot of intrigue and fights, and anyway, it reminds me of that, but like if we think of that but with people's bodies, right?
Yeah. Even just the idea of like how much augmentation can bodies take before they stop being useful to like corporate exploitation is an interesting question.
Yeah, cool. Do we have like thoughts about a name for our like weird, like, do they also do like they also do life insurance, right? Like they're like,
Yeah, of course they do.
but like it's
God damn it, yes.
it's like your employer purchases life insurance to make sure that their investment in you is like protected.
I imagine they also do, if they're medical, maybe they do pharmaceuticals, or they do like extended life procedures for the people who might like the rich people who might live on this resort island, like all that type of stuff.
Yep. No, absolutely. Yeah. Do we have feelings about like names for this place, or
Something like ironically optimistic, I think.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know. Well, Snow, what do you think? It's your corporation.
That's really hard. This is going to out me as a tragic emo, but there is a fictional entity within a My Chemical Romance album called Better Living Industries that are.
You went muted, Snow. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we lost you. Right at the
I
best
can't hear
part.
you. Where have you gone?
Oh no.
That's better.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
That was okay, weird. Yeah, my connection is unstable. Thanks.
Hey.
Internet. This is supposed to be oh my god, I'm getting disconnected from everything. Stop.
The good. This is the good internet. You've got the good internet.
Yeah, I've got the best internet you can get here.
Yeah, same. I got the fiber to the premises, and yet it drops out like every couple of days.
Yep.
Australia.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing is people are like, oh yeah, like Australia. Let's post-apocalypse in Australia. I'm like, fam, it's already a post-apocalypse. Like white people rocked up, killed it. Like some aliens rocked up, killed everyone, and completely changed the environment. It's a post-apocalypse. Sorry. Like, anyway. We put a hole in the sky. Like, I don't know if you know this. The reason that like the sun is so bad here is because the hole in the ozone layer is over Australia. Like, there's a hole in the sky above us.
It's really fascinating to me that people don't know that, because that was one of the first things that we learned about environmental science in like primary school in the UK, was how us Brits went to Australia and fucked up the sky.
Fucked up like everything.
Well, everything, including the sky and the frogs. The sky, the frogs, and the rabbit thing. That was like.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rabbit-proof thing, the rabbit-proof fence and everything. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
There's a really good book called Dark Emu, which talks about the fact that like, it basically points out like all of Australia's things of like being like, this is a wildlife or like a national park. A national park will just let nature do its thing, and it's a completely different landscape to what like it would have been when white people rocked up, because previously the entire landscape had been terraformed by indigenous populations. But like white people didn't understand that it wasn't just naturally like a garden. Yeah. Anyway, better living through industry or better living industries.
Well, Better Living Industries would just be a straight rip-off, so I feel like a slight change would be good.
You do you.
What about longevity?
Like just as a name, just longevity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Then, like industries in small text underneath, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've got it as like longevity with industries in brackets. But yeah, like the idea that it's not like that's because like people are like, yeah, longevity, it's good, but also like it doesn't imply good life. It just implies long life, which is lovely and evil. I love it. Kira, you and I get to make one yet.
Yes.
I basically, as the GM, I just basically like wait until everyone's done theirs and then see if I can see a hole that needs to be filled.
Yeah. Well, I have two ideas, so maybe we can each take one, or you might have a different one. But
let's bounce around.
Well, I'm thinking we're on this resort island yacht Disney weird thing. And so it's like two things, like probably the environment is like an issue, and probably like the service industry is an issue. So like I was thinking like like how in Cloud Atlas which is not a great movie, but
I loved it. It was so much.
I know, I loved it too. I didn't understand.
I love it
at first.
I loved it. I winced every time they were doing Yellowface, but
I didn't understand it was Yellowface. I thought they were future people that just looked.
Yeah.
No, they were supposed to be Korean.
I didn't read. It didn't read to me.
No, that's how badly they did it.
Because that's how bad it was. And then I was like, "This is a great movie we saw." And I was like, "Oh, it's supposed to be Korean, okay."
I did the exact same thing here because I hadn't read the book, which is I did the exact same thing.
As a trans woman, I really loved in the retirement village, in the retirement home, fucking Hugo Weaving's character in that. I was like, I understand that this is problematic, but I love you.
I wish there was a better way to portray it on film, basically. And good try, Wachowski's siblings. But there's a whole storyline where it's like robot servers, or they're like constructed just to serve people who are to serve. Something like that might be cool. Or something to do with like I don't know, toxic animals or environment, like something to do with like the consequences of whatever technology powers this floating island. Like what's the environmental consequence of that? Both of those sound like cool things to explore.
Yeah.
Oh, what if they're one corporation?
That was what I was wondering. Is this sound like there's a lot of stuff here about like the spaces we live in and how they accommodate us is what I'm hearing. And so I can see a corporation that manages that as a as its area of influence.
Oh, like both those things.
Yeah.
And then like a lot of it is like spin.
Sure.
Right,
like telling these rich people at the top of the buildings or whatever that like the animals are still alive, but actually they're replicants.
Like a marketing corporation.
Like how different is a robot that's designed to serve? How different are they to an air conditioner?
To a raccoon.
We went in completely opposite directions.
What were you gonna say, Ash?
I said, how different is a robot to an air conditioner? And Ray said, to a raccoon. It was just,
how different is a raccoon to an air conditioner, really?
They're basically the same.
Two things that are very important for our environments that we don't consider very often.
But yeah, is that a thing you're interested in? Like having something that is about the spaces that support. Cool.
Yes, I don't know what that would be. Is that a marketing company or is that a?
It sounds like an infrastructure company to me, like an infrastructure / hospitality, right?
Yeah.
Because like at a certain point, hospitality is infrastructure.
Totally. Oh, it absolutely is.
So yeah, cool. Infrastructure / hospitality. Running in case now chat can't see this, but I have a crew sheet in the thing there that y'all should be able to y'all should be able to make changes to it and things like that. It gets a bit weird if multiple people are changing things on it at once, but I'm putting the corpse into there.
It's like under the character sheet. Oh yeah, I see
in
it.
Character sheets.
So I don't know what that name should be though.
Does chat have any suggestions?
I suck at naming things. It's my one weakness.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I had a lot of fun doing with this game was just like writing the name tables so that I wouldn't have to like name NPCs.
Yeah,
So,
I use name generators. I'm weak.
for both In Which We Live and Breathe and for both City of Red Waters and Splintering Wheel, I've got like neural networks that have been like trained on huge data sets of names that are the kinds of things I want, so that they'll generate me random names. So yeah,
I would like this.
yeah, it's pretty fucking cool. Like for City of Red Waters, I trained it on like a data set that was like 50% Creole names and then 50% names from the Australian First Fleet. And so it understands those to be the same data set, so it generates you things that are kind of amalgams, which is really cool.
That's a very cool. I don't know, something like island time or like island.
Do we want to like give it a rest and you can come back to it?
Yeah,
That's cool. That we can do that.
sure.
I have an idea for the name of the city stroke island.
Mm-hmm.
How does everyone feel about just instance?
Ooh, cool. I like it.
Sounds great.
Like as in like an instance in a server or things like that.
Are there other floating cities?
Well, maybe this was meant. There
They
was
were
meant to be more in the future, but like it didn't go as planned. So like it was a prototype, and
Yeah. Cool. I love it.
Is it instance or is it the instance?
oh, maybe it's instance. Like the corporates call it instance, but like the people call it the instance.
Yeah. Cool. I love it. Just because it's a thing, it's a hole that I like. I like to have filled. It is we want a gun corporation. We want the police, the secure, like we gotta have a security jackboot thug sort of. I can't hear you, Kira. Sorry. Why can't we hear you? Do. No. Eh? That no? Okay. Why is it not go? Hey! I heard you laugh.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yeah,
can hear
you're
you.
back.
I don't know what happened because my internet did not stall.
That's
So-
very strange.
Yeah, that is weird. But is it private security or is it cops? Which one? Are they
Well, I
both?
mean, it's like, what? What's the difference? Like, one of them lies
Whoa.
about serving the public, like, like,
True.
yeah, it's
Sorry.
corporate security, right? Like,
Corporate-
we are in a corporate owned island. There is no, like, this is not a democracy.
There's no
Like,
government.
There's no government other than corporate government. Like,
Oh my gosh. Yeah, do we have maritime law? Because we're like on the water.
right? Like, they're completely devoid of any responsibility. Like, maybe there are governments still on, like, land, but fucking not here.
That somehow makes it worse.
Yeah, it's way worse.
Yeah. So, they both produce arms, or import arms. They probably maybe on the mainland they produce them, but like they are responsible for armaments and corporate security.
Ooh, Kira, you said maritime, and that's given me an idea for your corporation.
Yes.
It's a pun.
Great.
I'm already out.
Snow's out.
What about Marytime? So it's Mary spelled Merry, and then time spelled Thyme for like nature.
I love it. Yes.
It's actually really good.
I'm okay. So I'm the one that ends up hating this. I love it. It's such a pun. Wow.
Ray, you are our master namer.
Lucas suggested Kraken for the security people because
Good.
they're an arms dealer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. I'm into
Kraken
it.
Arms Corps.
Like, I'm mad about it, but it's also good, so...
Yep. Awesome. Blue water, like black water for the ocean. Yeah, that's also pretty good. I like.
Ooh.
I like.
That's good too.
I like Kraken. For
Can we throw an ink after Kraken? Like I-N-
yes, we have to.
ING?
We have to. We can't not. Oh.
Security, then they're also
Kraken
cracking
Incorporated,
down.
but Kraken Inc.
Yeah. Oh no. Okay. So we have our four. So there are other corps in our city, but these are the four like biggest ones. They're the ones that you know run Bartertown.
This is our very serious cyberpunk game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very serious.
I am 100% serious all the time.
I mean, it can have ridiculous names like Disney and be very. I feel like it's more serious.
I think it's always a
actually.
mistake to think that like there is a hard line between silly and serious, and that they don't just
Yeah.
always intermingle.
It's not a binary.
Yeah,
Can't have one without the other. It's
Yeah.
like light and dark.
the true Kingdom Hearts was silliness.
Oh my god, Luke's tagline, we're cracking down on crime.
Oh no, we have to have it. So we can have like jingles and things like that for our corpse as we come up with them.
Cool.
Um,
That's fine.
If you like want to if people want to like draw logos for them, we can have those in there. Like the sheet has a space for it. Cool. Well, we're a little over time for our first. We're actually pretty much on time for our first break because we started a little late. So shall we take our first break here, and then we'll come back and have a look at like what does our community look like that we're a part of, separate to the city itself.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right. We will be back shortly.